Welcome to Dateline Health. This is Fred Lippman coming to you from Southeastern University. And you know, every year we decide that we're going to do a show not necessarily about heart disease or cancer or surgical events or things of that nature, but we talk about the health of the community. And I think one of the most imperative things to talk about when we talk about the health of the community is our wonderful, magnificent Humane Society of Broward County. And the reason I say that is because they bring so much health and respect back to you, the human species, our viewers. So we got some special folks here, and I'm going to introduce them. First, we have Debbie Corial, and Debbie is a volunteer, and she has multiple responsibilities she'll talk to you about in the Animal Assisted Therapy Program at the Humane Society of Broward County, and her little dog there is Lexi. Welcome. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
And the star of stars, there she is, the star of stars, Marnie Bellavia. Marnie is the manager of the Animal Assisted Therapy Program. And the two beautiful animals that we have here today are Sydney, right here, and Karma, with a K, sitting with Marnie. Welcome, Marnie.
Thank you for having us.
Good to have you back.
It's a pleasure.
Tell the folks about your programs at the Humane Society of Broward County, which, by the way, is on Griffin Road, just west of the railroad track in, I guess you could say, East Broward. Go ahead, Marty.
We have an extensive education program at the Humane Society of Broward County. The program that I am the manager of is the Animal Assisted Therapy Program. And in that program, we have different facets of it. We have a Wags and Tails reading program, which we do in the schools and in all of the libraries in Broward County. We work in hospitals, we work in nursing homes and senior facilities. We work in really all different kinds of organizations. We work a lot with children. And we do a lot of community events as well to help people to understand the benefits of pet ownership, how having a dog has health benefits to owning a dog, helping you reduce your blood pressure, be calmer, be more happy, get more exercise. I know I get a lot of exercise having these two to take care of. So we have a very extensive program over at the Humane Society of Broward County.
Well, that's great. We're going to get into the actual elements of the program in a few minutes. But let me talk to what I believe. I mean, your program is so wonderful, but you cannot exist without volunteers.
Absolutely not.
And we have a wonderful volunteer sitting in front of us. So Debbie Corial, talk to us. What brought you to the program?
You know, Dr. Lippman, I was in banking for 37 years.
Right.
And I said I needed to do something to make a difference. And so I retired from banking after that long. And the one thing I wanted to do, my dream, as Marnie knows, was to take one of my dogs and get her trained to the point where I could take her in and brighten the days of people that we get to go in and see, both seniors and children. And we got to do that after an extensive training with Lexi to get her to the point where she could, you know, go into these facilities. And it was a dream come true for me.
Well, when I talk about, as I opened the show and said, we'll talk about the health care of the community, I am a firm devotee of not only the work of the Humane Society, but particularly this young lady right here, because of the extensive programs which we're going to get into. But I know that you are involved in more than just being a volunteer.
Right.
So tell me what you do with Lexi.
With Lexi. Lexi and I go to a library in Plantation with the Wags and Tails program, and whereby the children read to Lexi. So the children sign up in advance. They sign up for months in advance. It's such a popular program. And they come in and take turns and read to Lexi. Oftentimes the children may not be comfortable reading out loud, but they have found that if the child can read to the dog, it's a lot more fun. There's no judgment, there's no intimidation, the dog doesn't correct them, And the thing that's so nice that I have noticed about these children is they will check out a book and maybe practice reading the book for a week so that they can come in and read it well to Lexi, which is excellent because otherwise they may not be, reading as much. So it helps them read more. We do that, and we also go to a children's hospital in Coral Springs, and we visit the children on the 3rd floor of that hospital. And then we also go to the emergency room, the kids' emergency room at that hospital, which is always very interesting. You never quite know what you're going to walk into there. But Lexi gets to climb up onto the beds with the kids that have been brought in that might be experiencing, a traumatic situation. And the whole mood of the room changes when a dog walks in. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And the other thing that we do, we go to a nursing home, and we see folks there, and then we go to a school out in Miramar, elementary school, 2nd and 3rd graders, and we go in there for the Wags and Tails reading program as well. So we're pretty busy.
Well, like I said, Marty Bellavia, the program is an unbelievable program, but you can't do it without volunteers, and having volunteers. Not only we have Debbie Corial, but we have Lexi there, and Lexi's a big part of the volunteer because it's the work and the training that goes between the volunteer and obviously the wonderful animal that we have here that enables the people who receive the love and understanding and the relationship to that animal, and it all comes through both of you, not just you alone, with all due respect.
Very
Debbie,
true.
right?
No, you're exactly right.
Marnie, tell me what we have when we talk about animal-assisted animal therapy dogs. We all know, and we've seen it in multiple media outlets, how animals, and it was just told us by Debbie, particularly with children, but the relationship between the elders or between the extremely ill individuals, the conflicted people that have multiple morbidities or surgical events or things of that nature. Tell us how this really happens. How do you think it really happens?
Well, I think that animals are key to helping people rehabilitate and live happier, healthy lives. Having an animal in your presence brings so much joy. Statistically, it's been proven that people that are ill or that have had surgery or that are in a hospital or recovering from something will recover faster than people that don't have an animal, because they know that their animal is dependent on them being well and coming back, to take care of them. Animals just provide that unconditional love and that non-judgmental perspective that you don't find with people. They're always happy to see you. They don't care what kind of mood you're in. All they want to do is please. And, utilizing our animals in different facets of our therapy programs, we see how the folks that we're visiting, we see their motivation to want to be feeling better. We see that they are, like with the children that Debbie mentioned, they're motivated to want to learn to read or be better readers. With our senior facilities, the folks that we visit there, a lot of them have had to give up pet ownership. Many of those people have had pets their whole lives, and they've had to give up the ownership of having a pet. So when we bring these animals in, it's just like a ray of sunshine. Oftentimes, it's hard for us to get out of a facility because they're like, no, don't take my dog, leave Sydney behind, or can't Karma just stay overnight? It's like their dog then. And it brings, I think, a whole different perspective into their lives of well-being and feeling that love. I mean, how could you not love this?
Well, I noticed that, and again, I want the audience, the viewers, to understand why I believe that this is so important, because I believe that, the beauty of our community is that we're so diverse, both from a chronologic point of view as well as an ethnic and religious and cultural background point of view, but yet these animals don't judge people by what I just mentioned. Right. They are related to the human species, the people they deal with. Here I am. This is what I am. I don't need any answers. And what's so wonderful, and the reason that I ask you back to visit with us every once in a while, is because I really believe that it's so helpful to our healthcare providers. I think our healthcare, we finally have gotten to the point where we talk about alternative and integrated therapy, alternative and, and I just was talking to some officials at Memorial Sloan Kettering Institute in New York, which is considered to be one of the outstanding centers for cancer treatment in the world. Not that we don't have wonderful centers here, but they were telling me how they now have incorporated so many alternative and integrative therapy things, everything from meditation to animal assistance to the kindness and love of quiet reading to music, massage therapy, things that no one would have thought about in these icon institutes. But yet, here we are. And this is an example, I believe, of giving back to the community through the Humane Society of Broward County, a beauty that brings about a healthier community. How about that? Do you think that?
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
And what about you, Debbie Coryell? How do you feel about it?
I think you're right on. You're right on. It just makes such a difference, and I think that we're just beginning to realize the difference that animals make in the well-being and in the health of each of us. I think we're just beginning to realize the difference. So,
and
there's plenty more to come.
And I got to believe that you as a volunteer, you probably get more out of this than most people might believe.
Truly.
You want to express your feelings?
Oh, goodness, how would I do that? It's the best time I've ever had in my life. After working for so many years and raising 4 children and taking care of, elderly parents, this is the best time I'm having. Because you truly know that you make somebody's day brighter when you bring a dog in and they get to spend some time with the dog, be it reading or just having the dog, sit there with them in a bed to try to make them feel better for the time being. It's the best thing I've ever done. It's the most rewarding time I've ever had.
You and I have just met, but I've got to believe that, and maybe this is my view of it, because I know that I'm a better person because of my dog. How do you feel about that?
About me being a better person? I actually have 4 dogs.
Oh, well then you're 4 times better.
So, yes.
I can only deal one at a time. You're 4 times better.
I actually have 4. I only have 1 that's trained to be a therapy dog. But it's tremendous. It's tremendous. I might, have a sad day and just hug on one of my dogs, and all of a sudden I feel better. It's really miraculous.
Well, I don't want any of our viewers to have sad days, but this is why we have the animals here, and talking about better people. I mean, who is better than Marnie? and Marnie Bellavia, I mean the whole wags and tails thing really fascinates me. I want to get a little deeper into that because one of the shows that we did, we spoke about how the dogs are not judgmental. And you'll have a child that, for example, has a deficit relative to hearing or to sight. And I'm not talking about necessarily an impairment per se relative to cognitive issues, but sometimes children can be a little, shall we say, I don't want to say cruel, but in essence they do, in a way, sometimes do that, and they'll make fun of a kid that's got a hearing aid or big glasses and whatever. And I think you related a story to me about one of your reading animals, your dogs, that goes through these reading sessions. You want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, sure. Our Wags and Tails reading program is a reading motivation program. It's geared for children that are having any type of reading difficulties or confidence building in reading. And like you mentioned, we work in the schools, in the Broward County schools, and we also work in the Broward County libraries. And I find that, typically children that are having some type of difficulty, whether it's a speech impediment or whether they are have glasses or, like you had mentioned, maybe a hearing aid, they're not as confident to get up and read in front of their peers as children that don't have those types of difficulties. And when we come in with the dog, it's such a non-judgmental presence. You bring this animal in who's attached to a volunteer. We don't even exist anymore. It's like the human disappears and all they see are the animals. And the dogs just sit, on the floor next to the child while they're reading. And it's amazing when you see like the classroom full of children who maybe at once had maybe not the nicest things to say about another child. They all come together as a cohesive team, and reading is facilitated and learning is facilitated. And it's a fabulous program. We've heard from schools that FCAT scores have improved. One of the nicest things that I always hear from parents, I love, because when kids are in school, they have to read, they have to, do whatever their class is being instructed to do at the time. And when they go home, then they have their homework and their parents have to follow through. But I love when I get the letters or the phone calls from the parents that say, similar to what Debbie said, the child is at home reading to the turtle or to the stuffed animal or to the family dog, because they are being encouraged and they know that the animals are non-judgmental, and they have a wonderful way about them that they don't feel that they're going to be criticized in any way if they pronounce the sentence wrong or don't say the word exactly right.
Well, Karma certainly loves Marnie.
She does.
I know. And
she's a little wiggle worm.
Yeah, I know. But she's really a baby.
She is a baby.
Yeah, she's a baby, and she's learning. But I'm sure that you're going to teach her well. But she's a beautiful dog.
Thank you.
And we're very proud to have both Karma and, of course, Sydney is sitting down here, just nice and quiet.
Yeah, she's perfect.
But well, I don't know whether she's perfect. She just has been, around.
She's further trained, yes.
She's further trained.
Yes.
I don't want to say, I don't see any imperfections.
Yes. No, I don't either. You're right.
You know that. And I mean, animals, it makes no difference. They are what they are.
I agree.
think we look at people a little differently, tall, short, whatever. And we are a bit judgmental, and I guess we have our own standards of beauty or whatever, but with animals it's just different. That's the way I feel, folks. There's nothing I can tell you. That's the way I feel about it. So but let's again talk about the particularly with the elderly, because we have so many folks that are living in our community who are very secure. We have the largest percentage of people living in the state of Florida over the age of 80. And they're very independent folks. And we have a lot of people living in their own facilities, their own homes. All they want is the dignity and the responsibilities of life. There are impediments based upon morbidity or non-transportation or whatever. But they also have this situation in the fact that many of our retirement communities or otherwise don't allow animals. And I always wondered why we've come to that point in time, when the truth is that dogs, cats, animals bring a value to their lives that gives them a quality of life existence. Am I hitting on something that's in your spectrum of thought?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I'm always met with people of various different ages, but most recently I've had several seniors that have adopted animals from our shelter and have come through our training classes, and they want companions. What's a better companion than a pet? And from an exercise and a health benefit perspective, they want to be able, like you said, they're still mobile. They want to be able to get out and go walking with the dogs and enjoy the companionship of having a pet in their home and with them. For those people that can't have pets in their home, you know, it's a very sad thing, and we're always, you know, looking to try to change those regulations, but unfortunately they're usually done by associations that they're just really not educated to understand what the health benefits are of having animals and how they really do bring a quality of life back to people that sometimes they're missing. So yeah, I do totally agree with that.
No, good. And as you were saying, Debbie, you don't mind me calling you Debbie?
No, please do.
Although the Corial name is beautiful, but you have four pets, and of course Lexi is the trained assisted therapy dog. But I would assume that that this wonderful Lexi's relationship with your other animals must be very unique.
A lot with the other animals at home?
Yeah.
Oh, it is very unique.
Right.
It is very unique. We have to work hard at her not acting too spoiled around the other 3 dogs, because she kind of walks back into the house like, I've been out, you know, making people feel better today. So we have to work on that with her. But she's the pack leader. Lexi's the pack leader of the other 3. So they're anxious to see her when she comes back in the house.
Well, see, you got to the exact point as I was going to ask you, because this is my no knowledge or just instinct. I believe that Lexi comes back into the house and teaches those other dogs something that has happened that day.
I believe they can communicate with each other.
I know, folks, you might think that I'm a little, you know, out there, but no, I really think that that's what happens.
I think they communicate with each other, and I think they get to live vicariously through Lexi, because I think that she is able to communicate that she has made someone feel better that day, and I think it makes them feel better. For her, she's the happiest when she's working. I think that dogs like to have a job. I think it makes them feel valued, and she's the happiest when she gets to go to work, just like today.
What do you think? How correct am I?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I know that if I take one and leave the other behind, when they come back, there's a sort of conversation that happens when I come back into the house between the 2 dogs. And I definitely do believe that they are, you know, communicating back and forth with one another. And, you know, both of my dogs are, she's an education dog and Sydney's a therapy dog. So they do get to go various different places, sometimes together, sometimes not together, but I do believe that they do have a conversation when they come back, and then they do talk to each other in their way of what's going on.
Okay, tell us what, I know that there's some significant, like you said, improvements going on at the Humane Society relative to the growth and the needs of the community, but talk to us a bit about the Humane Society of Broward County and why it's so special.
Oh, where do I start?
At the beginning.
The beginning would go back 20 years ago when I first started there.
Right.
You know, it's near and dear to my heart. Like Debbie, I did work in the corporate world as well, and gave up my job to go work at the Humane Society, and it's been the best thing I've ever done. You know, we are a facility where we take in animals that are owned by people that no longer want them. I know it's hard to believe that this dog was once owned by somebody and they no longer wanted her. But we take in animals that people don't want anymore, and we adopt them, and we put them into lifelong homes. Our shelter is one of the top shelters in the United States. We have the largest number of adoptions. We have a beautiful pet boutique, which 100% of the proceeds come back to the Humane Society. Every single thing you could pretty much find anywhere else, you could find at our shelter. Toys, collars, treats, human gifts, everything. We have a very extensive, like I mentioned before, education program. We have a cruelty department. We have a full staffed clinic. We really do have the best shelter ever. I mean, the facility is state of the art. We're in the process, like you mentioned, of renovating, and it's going to be even better than it is now. I can't even imagine, because it's already so good. But it's going to be fantastic. You had mentioned earlier how we can't do what we do without our volunteers, and I couldn't agree with that more. Our staff ratio to volunteers is like an 80-20 split. So we rely heavily on our volunteers, both human and canine, to help us to be able to do what we do every single day. They are really the heartbeat of the Humane Society, are our volunteers.
Okay, give me the address again of the Humane Society in Broward.
Humane Society Broward County is located at 2070 Griffin Road, and that's in Fort Lauderdale. And the zip code is 33312. The telephone number is 954-989-3977. And our website is www.humanebroward.com.
Right, and I know that you can't ask for it, but I can tell the folks that if any of you want to be helpful to the Humane Society with donations and things of that nature, so that not only these programs, but the lives of the inhabitants of the Humane Society, namely the dogs and the cats, have an opportunity to be adopted, because you'll give them an opportunity to give back to you in the community what I believe to be a more healthy community. How about that?
Excellent.
Who do I get on my lap now?
Who would you like?
Well, I don't know whether
Would you like Lexi? You want Lexi?
Well, I don't think you're going to be able to get up from that side. So let's.
What about Sydney?
Sydney.
Sydney, you want to come over?
Come on, Sydney. Come here. How you doing?
Go ahead.
How you doing? Hi.
Oh,
There we go.
beautiful.
Good
There's
girl.
a beautiful girl. Sydney's a beautiful girl. How are you? Huh? Anyway, folks, as you can see, I'm having more fun than you are probably viewing us. But here we are. Again, I remind you that we do these shows to really try to say to you that it's so important for us as a community to try to be healthy, not only as, as human beings that have frailties and sickness and morbidity, but also to have an opportunity to have kindness. And I could tell you that these animals are very kind and very beautiful, and they give more than probably we deserve. But, and I don't mean to be talking for you, but I can tell you that being an animal owner for so many years, I can tell you that they've given me more than probably I deserve. But that's just my own opinion. I want you to recognize that these folks, whether it be Debbie Corial, volunteer, or the wonderful Marnie Bellavia, who is the manager of the Animal Assisted Therapy Program, and these beautiful animals, give of themselves to help you have a healthy community. So I wish you nothing but the very best. And remember, as I always say to you, take good care of yourself. But in this case, maybe you can take good care of yourself by helping the Humane Society of Broward County as well. So if you have any questions, you will have any consideration or information you want on this program, just give us a call on this phone number, and there's a little email address. And then remember, as I always say to you, take good care of yourself, and by doing that, you make us happy. So this program is called Dateline Health. We come to you from Nova Southeastern University. And until next time, this is Fred Lippman saying, with my partner, Sydney, see you.